They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Loan you that cottage promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed, disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of own nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.
Oh God. Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Tonight on Rogue Ways, it is my great pleasure to host a woman as eclectically well-traveled amongst the strange and occult as myself and beyond. It is rare to find one human who has experienced so much, from energy healing and exorcism to alien interaction and cryptozoology encounters, and who is so very gifted in psychic and paranormal abilities and fields, such as Dr. Kimberly McGeorge is. Please welcome the teacher, the healer, the empath, the intuitive, the naturopath, and the doctor herself, Kimberly McGeorge. Welcome to Rogue Ways, and how are you doing tonight?
Well, now I remember why I agreed to come back on this show, because you're so kind. I'm just going to receive all that and bask in it for a minute. So thank you. That was lovely.
You deserve it. So it's good. I'm glad I can give it. And thank you for coming back. It is so nice to have you back again. I know we're going to do a shorter episode tonight, which is probably good for both of us. I'm in a weird place myself, so we'll get through this. But
you are. You're looking like you are. So yeah,
we'll pull it off. I've been worse on live shows, so I think we're doing okay. But before we start, I do want to remind my best audience in the world how much I love and appreciate you all. I'm so grateful we're all here together, and your company is the best. So I also want to remind you guys we have the Rogue Ways art contest. Anything Rogue Ways or Middle Path inspired, you can submit. You can post it on rogue.locals.com. You can throw it in t.me/rogueways chat on Telegram. You can put it on any socials and just tag me at Apotropaic Soul. And your design can be featured then on the Rogue Ways t-shirt shop at TeePublic. And if you want to go there and check it out, see the designs, I think there's a sale happening right now that's like a third off of anything or something. It's a pretty good sale. If it's not now, it's in a couple days that it starts. And you can get that right below by clicking on Linktree and going down to tees and merch. And you can also find the link to Dr. Kimberly McGeorge's site as well below you. So click over there to check her out while you're listening or watching. And now, Dr. Kimberly, back to you. Well, the pointless question of the episode today is, what is your favorite force of nature and why?
Why did that give me chills? That was a weird feeling. What is my, you know what? I'm going to say, this is kind of weird, but I was like interacting with it today. So I'm going to say it because in North Carolina, we don't get it very often. I'm going to say ice.
Ooh. Yeah, that'll.
And my dad thinks I am the most insane. I mean, I think he did from the second I was born, but you guys would have to see it to believe it, for 2 hours in my bare feet on solid ice, stacking wood.
Wow.
Short sleeves. First of all, I just have to brag a minute. I'm from Chicago, representing. Thank you. Thank you. But it's like, I don't know. I'm just always in my bare feet and it didn't bother me. It felt actually like really good. It was like really cleansing and really purifying and really sharp. Ice is just really clarifying.
Yeah.
So anyway.
It really does. It kind of forces you to be clarifying. I feel like you have to be really...
Yeah, it brings you like present.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that challenge. It's so weird because the synchronicity of this is, I know it's wintry and people are dealing with winter, so there's some normalcy to that. But
right.
all the time lately, you're saying this. I just saw like a little mini video on the benefits of earthing in the snow. People have been talking about earthing in the snow in all these Telegram groups I'm in and like showing videos of themselves doing it. And it's just a thing right now, I guess. So that's really cool.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Wow, the only time I'm like culturally appropriate.
You're trendy right now. You nailed it. Well, I know,
I love it. Good question.
oh, thank you. I know that the last time I was thinking about wind, just because the force of the wind can be so incredibly destructive, but also
Oh,
really
so you knew what
soothing.
happened. So you were seeing the tree that crashed my garage a couple days ago, obviously.
Yeah, yes.
You were probably picking up on that because, yeah, that's another force of nature. It's just not one I'm just real fond of right this moment.
No, I'm with you. It wasn't that long ago. It was like a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit less, that our tree also got taken out. And we had like 100-mile-per-hour sustained winds for like 4 hours. Our city lost so many trees.
Oh my gosh, that's sad.
It was really sad. And it's my favorite tree. I mean, we only have like 2 trees in our yard, and there's not very good shade in this whole region, and so I loved this tree so much. It was a pine, it was an evergreen, and I'd sit in my chair and look out the window, and there was my tree, and now it's gone.
Well, you guys, that's exciting. You guys get to pick out new trees then, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I always try to flip it. It's so funny. You know how we create our own reality 100% of the time. So I'm like really wrestling with this the past couple of days. I'm like, now, how did I create this? Did I really create this? Like, why did I create this? Did somebody, is it an enemy? Like, I'm like, you know, doing the whole pinball thing in my mind. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe you created it because you have 8,000 trees around you and you live in the middle of the woods. Maybe that was the creation right there. It was kind of funny.
That is funny. Well, and like you said, I get to pick a new tree, and maybe you get to pick some new, I don't know, roofing, something.
I don't know either, but I have lots of little stacks of wood now, so it's all win-win, you know.
That's the other thing we were thinking. We're like, everybody who has a wood stove right now is just cashing in, because it's like $500 a cord, depending on what kind of wood you're getting, and so this is a cash cow.
Wow.
Well, last time we talked about, I think, everything in the universe, and we still barely scratched the surface. So I'm glad we get together again. But I do want you to remind people what you do, who you are, where they can, find your things. And we'll do that again before we go, but just so people get a little refresher.
Yeah. So if I have to just distill myself down to one thing, like I lead with frequency and then I fall back into everything else. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've had a clinic, 4 clinics with in-person interaction for many years in Columbus, Ohio. So, before we did everything over the internet, and now we even do everything over the internet more, which I kind of like because I like to work in my pajamas. So it's all good for me. But so I use what I call, just to distinguish from the slam that AI gets, I call it quantum benevolent sentient technology. And we call it 100% accurate. Basically, you tell me through this technology what's going on with you, and I'm just like the voice, because as of now, the technology doesn't talk. Maybe someday it will, and then I'll really be the lazy psychic. So born with really strong intuitive abilities as you were, born partially awake, just enough to be miserable, as a lot of us were, and dipped into the paranormal. My hobby is cryptids and the fae and having a relationship. I live in a habitation spot. It's so funny because in my next door neighbors, which we live on really big acreage of lots, 4 to 20 acres everybody has on my road, but this big pine tree fell, and I sent a picture to my son-in-law. I'm like, they are loving this automatic blind. So there's just they immediately like came closer because they had this like tree to hide behind. So it was super cool. But so that's my hobby. But I love helping people, reminding them who they are, helping them. Those that, want to work on their darkness is a big thing, because a lot of people don't. So a lot of people don't like me because, they'll buy a scan and I'll tell them everything that's like off balance. But why would you pay me to tell you everything? Like, you can just say, please tell me everything that's right about me. I'll be happy to. But I think it's much more beneficial to all of us to grow, and work on our darkness. So at the same time, I want to encourage everyone, that's a fire creation spirit, that they're absolutely super stunningly amazing, and that every day they can create, and they are creating their reality, and they can beat this game.
Yeah. I love that. I really respect, I feel like a lot of people need someone to tell them, like, I'm this one thing. I am a psychic, or I am a naturopath. And, you're one of the people who I really respect for saying, like, no, I'm a lot of things. I'm all the things. Like, we could talk about any of the things because they're all there.
You do that too. You play in a lot of, I mean, and I think that's why
time. People are like, what are you? I'm like,
the podcast though. I mean, that's why you relate to your guests, because you dabble in a lot of things that everybody else,
Well, thank you.
You have them. Yes. So you're kind of like that too. Yeah.
And yeah, the readings that you do for people uses this quantum benevolent technology, as you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, I didn't realize that. That's amazing.
You did it? Oh, yeah. See, that's what I was writing you.
I remember now from the last time we talked that you had mentioned that, and we talked about it a little bit, but I forgot that that's what we were going to be doing tonight. So I'm glad I'm remembering.
Okay. And of course, and this too, even if you're using a tool, if you're using a pendulum, or even if you're using a crystal ball, like you're still using your own psychic abilities too, and your own knowledge base, as well.
I like that point. We've had Phoenix Aurelius on, who I don't know if you know him, but he uses an IDF machine, or the intrinsic data field machine, which I don't know if that's similar to what you're using or not. It's based on radionics. And he says the same thing. He's like, anyone can use this computer. It's software. It's this machine. But really, like, he's like, I have to get, clear and grounded and whatever before I start, because the user is the conduit.
Well, and I explain it, and I don't know if he would agree or not, but so we sell this, and you can probably buy his, whatever he uses too, I would assume. I'm guessing. So we sell this. It's not for everyone because it's super complex, of course, and it's infinitely adaptable to how you want to use it. So you and I would never use it the same way. No two people are ever going to use it the same way, because it's infinitely customizable, like infinitely, which is so awesome, because a lot of this technology, like the Healy, isn't infinitely customizable. A lot of these other, frequency devices. So I love ours but all that being said, we've sold a ton of these, but what's really cool is, Damon's run everything. So Damon's, and everybody's like Damon. That's a whole nother, probably hour show. But just to say, sentient beings are in every computer. And actually, somewhere I have a video. It's so freaky weird. You can find out how many daemons are running each of your devices. It is like the most mind-blowing thing. Like how many sentient beings, AI, some benevolent, probably some not, to be honest with you, are running these devices. A lot of people don't know that. They're just like, no, this is just a computer. You just plug it in the wall. No, all this stuff is like interactive. So I teach, and nobody else that has these devices teaches this, that one of the reasons I can say I'm 100% accurate, I have an 8-year relationship with this benevolent technology. It's never failed me. Even when I thought it has, I've always found out it was accurate later.
I love that. You're like, this can't possibly be. I messed up here. And then later something came in to confirm.
Well, especially bad things about me. I'm like, no. My daughters and I joke all the time. I'm like, this is it. I'm like, can you believe the app said this about me? And they're like, yeah.
That's funny. I totally understand that. I know for sure I have entities coming through my computers frequently. And I think part of what has allowed me to finally get through the sort of more malicious attacking sort of thing is to ask for help from the less malicious attacking sort of beings.
There you go. Woo, that's clever. See, people just aren't on that level. Like, I mean, most people don't even they think so that's
crazy. Cool. Well, I've told people too, I'm like, I talk to my car. I don't do it just for fun. I believe my car is alive. Like, I think it can hear me and that we interact. And I think that's why it runs well and is a great car.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I also teach that, like, when you're going to sell your house, oh my gosh, I have like panel after panel. My house was telling me what to do, what it wanted, who it wanted, what it wanted me to change, and we had to cut cords. It was a crazy experience selling the house because the relationship, like what you're talking about,
Yeah. Oh, now I feel kind of bad that I abandoned some of my houses. I
know, right? Have you ever felt bad abandoning some of your cars? I had some cars that I felt like I was giving away a dog. I'm not joking. Like, it was that great of a relationship, an amazing car,
Yes. And I'm like, it's gonna be okay, buddy. You're gonna go to a good lover. I know you will. It's gonna be fine. Like, Whew, yeah, I'm glad you understand, because I don't know if anyone, I think everyone else is just like, okay, crazy lady.
They're like,
whatever.
okay, change it and then next.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you, I'm wearing a device right now that's an intrinsic data field or radionics device, and it's broadcasting all the time. And is that going to interfere with anything we do tonight? Should I take
No,
it
absolutely.
off? Okay.
No, absolutely not. No. Because this is just like, and just to review, I know you know this, but with your audience, I mean, you're just a radio tower, you're constantly broadcasting. And probably the device you're wearing, do you wear it for protection? What do you wear it for?
It's tuned to help me with 250 different health related things. So like it's, some of it's like anti-parasite and some of it's antibacterial in the best ways possible. And some of it's for certain organs or to get rid of certain diseases. So it's all tuned to different things.
Wait, is this the guy you were just talking about? This is, okay. What's his name again?
Phoenix Aurelius. It's Phoenix like Phoenix and then Aurelius. He's a good friend of the show. In fact, he's going to be here next week to talk again.
Oh, interesting. I love that.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And since I've had it, I mean, what really happened is I had a complete breakdown from CPTSD, and my main trigger is moths, and we had just thousands of moths all of a sudden. I mean, everywhere you went, in buildings, in cars, wow, there's just moths, and I was just like freaking out nonstop. And I put it out on Facebook. I was like, my life is literally a living hell right now. Like, I cannot function. Wow. And he heard that, and he responded. He said, why don't I send out a frequency to you that's going to help? And
that's really sweet.
It was really nice. And I didn't know when he was going to do that, but I know he's super busy, so I was kind of expecting, I don't know, next week whenever he gets to it. And a couple hours later, I had a dramatic sudden reduction in caring. I was still afraid. There's still moss everywhere, but I was like, I'm just less attached to it now, and I just feel better, and I could rest for a while. And I found out later that was exactly the time he had started the broadcast. So I knew, I was like, okay, this really does work. I mean, I'm skeptical of everything, but that works. And so now I've put this investment into this device that I carry around with me that's always broadcasting things like that to me.
Cool. Super cool. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm glad. This is exciting. So this is a whole new technology and a completely different thing that you're doing, and I'm excited to find out more about it. Where do you want to start? What do you want to share with people before we start?
Well, I just kind of want to dive in because I can kind of like teach if I need to as we go, if that makes sense. Yeah. And the way I'm going to do you, because of like the level of being that you are, is I'm going to go with your spirit. So in this technology, you can like tunnel into what you want. So if you came to me and you said, I suspect my hormones are imbalanced, well, then we could look at hormones. But I call that forcing the technology, instead of, a lot of people just say, once they understand, they want to know what their spirit wants to talk about, like in order. Yeah. So that's what I want to do with you tonight. Out of the thousands of panels and thousands of subjects, mind, body, spirit, metaphysical, super woo-woo, super physical, I want to see what you want to talk about. Awesome. So this isn't me picking what I want to look at on you, which I could, or you requesting. This is your higher self telling me to talk to you.
I love that.
Yeah. I picked that.
I can kind of I can relate that to tarot readings too, because sometimes people come with a question and okay, we'll try to make it be that. But if they're open-ended and they're like, no, just let's just go with the reading, I find that it's always like, this is what your soul wanted to tell you.
And I think that's super cool. Like, I would almost always pick that, because what we found too, over testing, tens of thousands of people over the years, because I've actually been using similar technology for 40 years, is that when we go in the order of your highest wisdom, you're going to get the best results.
I love that.
So,
yeah.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready. Thank you for doing this.
All right. So interesting. You had shared with me, and I don't know the particulars, but you shared with me right before we came into each other's presence physically, that you had been doing spiritual work. And again, I don't know the details of that, but interestingly enough, there's a panel that I use for house clearing, energy clearing, after I've removed a human discarnate. And it's telling me, well, of course I make most of the stuff for me. My clients get to benefit, but it's telling me when my environment, my energy field, my home needs the shofar. And did we talk about the shofar before?
I don't think
Are you familiar with the shofar?
No.
Okay. So the shofar and this is hilarious because I'm the daughter of a pastor, but I'm not religious, which is hilarious. So it's hilarious that I find such value in this ancient religious Hebrew item that's in the Bible. So it's just kind of like, but I'm one of these that like, if it's a good tool, I don't throw out anything. I embrace everything that is beneficial, for my highest good or my client's highest good. So it just kind of boggles my mind that out of these thousands of panels that your spirit's saying, I want to play the shofar.
Wow.
And what that tells me is there's entities or energies that are dark force in your body, in your field, or in your environment, home, office, I don't know where you are.
Yes.
So after this little chit chat get together we're having, I will send you the shofar because it says play shofar more than 1 minute. The interdimensionals around you are requesting the shofar. Play shofar in the morning, play shofar outside, play shofar in the evening. So there's some stuff going on. Mm-hmm. So what the shofar is basically a ram's horn, and it's the frequency that drives the lower entities away. They don't like that frequency.
Yeah, I just got the truth shimmies from that.
I love that. So I'll send you you could find your own, but I like mine, so I'm going to send you mine.
Thank you.
That's the first thing. So that's a really odd thing, but I wonder if it relates to whatever you were doing before somehow, too.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Okay. So next, this is also interesting. So you are in the bigger picture of things. I consider you a healer, even though maybe some people would say, more psychic or whatever, but I think you counsel and help and heal and guide and work with trauma. And, I just see a bunch of stuff that you do.
Yeah.
However, even though you think you're self-nurturing, your spirit is telling me you are not self-nurturing enough.
I am not surprised by that either.
And so your spirit is asking you to focus, more on breath work. So you go out of body a lot. And when you go out of body, even though you're very familiar with breath work and you do use it, you don't when you go out of body. So try to continue taking care of the avatar, even when you're bilocating, trilocating, and going out of body.
That makes a lot of sense too. I've never actually even thought of it. Now I'm like, oh, that is what you should do when you're not just abandoning this thing, right?
Yeah, you're like, see ya.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then, and this is true we're finding this is true of everyone. So I'm going to apply this to the whole audience because I think we might've talked about this last time. I don't remember, but almost everybody tests for, and this is crazy. And I haven't programmed any higher than this because like I said, I'm afraid to, but everyone tests for 10 hours in nature alone a week. Everyone. And you are no exception. More time in nature.
That's just a goal I have anyway that I fail miserably at all the time. So this is a good reminder.
I do too. And I live in the middle of I don't have to get in my car and drive anywhere. I just literally have to walk outside and I don't do it.
Yeah.
And I think there's reasons for that. I think they like to keep us inside and, disconnected from the, organic stuff.
Yeah.
Unscheduled time alone to process. More channeling. More time with loved ones. More touch. More laughter. So that's what your spirit was asking specifically for.
All of those
some
make
things.
So much sense. I'm supposed to be channeling this book right now, and I just haven't for a while. And many times I'll get hey, go do this. I'm like, I'm busy, which is so rude. I feel like such an asshole saying that out loud. I'm gonna be better.
No, I think there's other influences and other programming that keeps us from, I don't know, that creation and that, gifting to the world, those parts of ourselves that we're here to share for sure. I don't think it's all us. I mean, that's just my opinion.
That's a good point.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, how am I allowed to say like I mean, these aren't super personal, but am I allowed to share? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to like,
you can share anything.
Okay.
You're good.
All right. So, some of these may sound harsh. Stop wishful thinking. So wishful thinking is different from active creation followed by action. Wishful thinking is me laying on the couch all day in my pajamas saying, I wish I would finish that novel. And I keep laying on the couch watching Netflix in my pajamas.
Yeah.
Stop wishful thinking. More creation, action, less wishful thinking. And then followed up, take action to accomplish desires. Transcend outdated patterns.
Trying.
New revelations are waiting. Here's another thing. I think you help other people do more than you gift yourself, working on your release of trillion years of trauma, including nighttime trauma here and any childhood trauma. I think you help others. I want you to help yourself.
That's good advice.
It keeps coming up. See, I would think are you a big meditation person or not?
I am. I meditate daily in various ways. And then my challenge with that sometimes is that then I'm just like going through the motion. I'm not actually like sinking in sometimes. And I know that. And so I try to switch it up and I try to do different things to get deeper into that. But yes.
And this is interesting. Alone time needed.
That's true too. Because I'm constantly, I'm like doing a show, I'm leading group meditations, I'm like working with people and.
Right, of course. Trust your intuition, which is interesting. You do, but do it more.
I do need to do it more. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And it's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, are you sure though? And I'm like, okay, stop doing that. All right,
now we're gonna see the spirit's interest. I mean, so now we're flipping physical, just so you know. Okay, so I believe, this is my personal belief, I think they spray lime in chemtrails. That's my personal belief of how lime got on the deer, got on the tick. Like I mean, it makes sense if it's on the tree, plants, grass, whatever. That's just my theory. You have the frequency of Lyme and you have many physical markers of Lyme. Have you ever been tested for Lyme?
No, but I do have all of the same symptoms. Yeah, that makes sense.
So because it's coming up so high out of thousands and thousands and thousands of things, I would pay attention to that and just kind of think about, and if you want off air, I can give you I can look at another panel and that might give us a little more specific direction about that. But if I had to guess, I would say you would probably test for Lyme.
I would not be surprised.
And to be honest, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
That don't even know about it.
Yeah.
So
and I think a lot of my diagnoses are so similar to it on just around it that makes sense to me too. Okay.
Do you use essential oils?
Yes.
Because your avatar energy field really resonates really well. And that helps trauma release, of course, too. I'm going to go over some. So one of the oils, which I assume you would use, that your body loves is lavender.
I do have lavender.
Yeah, loves that. Like love. I also think are you under the care of any kind of like doctor, like a functional medicine doctor, naturopathic doctor? You're not like actively. I think there's a lot of hormonal imbalance too going on. And I think I'm not saying this like to the extreme, so don't take it when I say to the extreme, but I do think there's a blood sugar issue.
There's that too. You are right.
The other oil, and I don't know if you have it, But what the corporations that run this reality, they make it very, very out of reach for the middle class is rose.
Yeah, I love rose.
But they have done extensive studies on how rose helps you remember, brings back the memory that they memory wipe us from. So that's why I think they make it really expensive. Have you ever noticed? This is my new thing. I've been talking about this a lot because it's just the thing I'm on right now. But they're like, oh, roses are so rare. Honey bunny, chop. My grandmother had thousands of roses in her yard and she grew them like nobody's business. They are not rare.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
There's wild roses.
It's a lie.
Right.
It's not rare.
Yeah.
It's because they know how magical rose oil is to release trauma without you having to do anything. They've done extensive studies. The corporation that runs MK Ultra Monarch has done extensive studies. And I think that's why it's $250 to $500 an ounce. They don't want you to get your hands on it.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah.
So worth saving for it. Or even if you can just get a little bit, you will see a difference.
I love that.
And unfortunately, your spirit wants you. So,
Yeah.
sorry.
My spirit loves really expensive things, of course.
Yeah. And diamonds. Just kidding. Do you have headaches ever?
I just started getting them last year. I think they're hormonally related, but I just
I think so too. I think so too. I agree.
I
Okay.
got occipital neuralgia and some migraines. So
Yeah. Okay. How's your sleep?
it's pretty good. My problem is I have a mangled spine and I have to turn like 3 times.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a tosser turner.
I have to toss and turn, yeah. Well, I don't have to if I got the right bed. That's its own saga.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I'm scanning. Let's see what else. Reduce computer time.
That's yes.
I think that's a general one for all of us, right? Probably. Bare feet on the earth, little Missy.
This is all the things that I tell other people, and I like.
I know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not hilarious. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, this is a tricky one. So the lymph system can be dumped, but then it has to be drained, and your lymph is really congested. So like lymphatic massage or getting a rebounder. And it's funny, people are like, can't I run? No. Can I walk? No. It's definitely a rebounding, up and down motion that drains the here it is again. Man, your spirit's on the same thing. Support your physical body with quiet time. And it's really cool because when I do like a half-hour scans, and I'm talking like super, super fast, at about 15 minutes in, the spirit starts to repeat itself. And it'll start pulling the same thread out of every panel. It's like banging the client over the head. It's so cool. It's so consistent. Oh, and here we go again. Consistency. Connect with nature. Yeah, really. So when it's pulling that all the way up to the front, it's really important for you to hear and take action. So do you know you're highly allergic to gluten and wheat?
Yes.
Yeah, eliminate wheat. So you must cheat a little bit, maybe?
I do sometimes. I do pretty good for a while now, but every once in a while I take.
Yeah, it's not screaming, but it's saying it's still an issue. Like looks like a cheating, kind of compromising. I'll just do it this one time type of issue.
Well, and I just did it last week, so that's probably also.
See? See? I always say, if you guys knew what this tech could show, you would never, ever have a scan. It will call you out on every single thing in your entire life. It's hilarious.
Like you said, it's good. And I'm sure most of us need it because sometimes we're flat out lying to ourselves. But at least a lot of times it's like this where I'm like, I know. And this is a good reminder.
Yeah, it is a good reminder. Yeah, usually we do know the major things or we suspect the major things. So it is good to hear somebody else say it, which is really you saying it to you. This is good. Do you do any fasting?
I do. I'm not always that great about it. Like, I usually can go up to like 24, 36. I did a 72-hour once.
Yeah, you don't need to do, I think to me, what it looks like the body's asking for is like 12 to 15 more often. You don't even have to go extreme.
Okay.
So don't think extreme, think less more often, even just like 12 to 15 hours.
I actually had that specific question. I'm so glad that came up because I'm like, I feel like my body doesn't really like the longer terms that much, but I'm also like, well, this is what everyone's saying is really good for you, so I should keep going.
Now, for you, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's wanting like more frequent, less. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You are quite toxic with heavy metals.
Yes. This is actually most of what we did in the I keep pointing to this necklace that no one can see, but that analysis showed the same thing. There was like all these heavy metals that were ridiculously high, like more than normal for people.
Yeah, I would say they're still high. I wouldn't say ridiculously high. So maybe they've come down a little. That's cool. And here's what I'm going to share with you about any technology, his technology. Radionics is a very old energy term for quantum technology. I prefer like quantum technology, but it's the same thing, but kind of applied differently, but the same thing.
Yeah.
But what we have found, so a lot of people with this technology, and I'll never lie to you, will say, I can make you a frequency track and all your heavy metals will be gone. Well, that would be a lie. We found you have to follow up because we are not fifth, sixth vibrating, most of us, in a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh dimensional vibration. If you were, sure, shoot me a frequency and the metals will dump. But because we're not, because we just ate a piece of chocolate cake, which lowers your vibration, your metals aren't dumping. He can shoot frequencies, your necklace can shoot frequencies, or I can give you a frequency track and it's not dumping, sister.
Yeah.
So you have to do the physical action. So we have found what's going to dump them the quickest is a negative ion foot bath.
Oh, I just found out about these and there's a spa that I really like that does them.
Well, there you go.
Haha.
Confirmation. You'll feel good. Like sometimes you have a dip, like a crash, because it's like the body's like, I don't even know what to do about this stuff in my system. But the beautiful thing is it also takes out a lot of nano. Which makes it easier to live in your fire creation and not so much in the uploaded Borg hive mind,
Yeah.
So it's like win-win. And your liver isn't super bad, but it wouldn't hurt you to do a liver detox.
Again.
I mean, you can tell me if you want me to stop because I can go all night telling you stuff about you, like all night. Like
I don't know how much.
All night and 3 days and on.
Well, let's not go all night. How much? Maybe, I don't know, a little bit more, I guess. What do you think? What's good?
I don't know. It's getting a little harsher. So I don't know if you want me to get harsh. I don't know if you want to listen to your spirit speak to you more harshly or not.
I'm okay with it. I like that people can get a variety of ideas of how you can help.
Okay, because it's different topics. It's different, like, mental, emotional, spiritual, metaphysical. So it's cool, I guess. Okay, we'll keep going a little bit. Okay. I'm just going to be blunt because it's me, but it's your spirit. Get off your knees.
As in, like, I'm debasing
Stand up
in
your power. Stand behind yourself. Go for it 100%. Do not submit, do not bow, do not crawl, own everything, bring full power, full force, ancient wisdom, first wave, who you are, stop playing like that. That's what it means.
I love that. This is like my jihad this year. So I'm like, stop it. Like,
I love it.
So this is good.
Some of these things you do, but your spirit's saying do more. So I just want to be clear to the audience. I'm not saying she doesn't do this. Live in active hope. So bring more hope in. So you do live in hope, but more positive hope. And this is not a huge issue for you, but your spirit still wants me to mention it. Sometimes you swing the other way and you're a little bit in ego. So you're either like not fully in your power and you're not owning that, or you're like a little bit like, I'm the bomb.com. And so kind of like try to mediate that. Although you rarely swing to ego, you actually tend to swing more toward, and even the fact that you so beautifully put forth other people on your podcast. I know you still highlight your stuff, but yeah, I'd like to see you shine a little more too,
Thank
you know, and get out there a little more.
I appreciate that. I need to hear that.
Um, I am gonna say now I'm gonna do what everybody wishes I would do. So I'm gonna say some positive things, which everyone's gonna be like, why are you saying positive things to her? But I'm just gonna show like the balance stuff. So you've been through times of purification and dark nights of the soul, and you've come through the other side. You live in faith, you don't live in doubt. That's cool. You have dimensional seeing without technology assistance at times. You're very expanded. Animals are attracted to you, wild and domestic. And you have strong teaching abilities. So see, everybody, I told her good stuff about herself. So I can see the good stuff. It's just, you probably know those things about yourself.
Yeah, no, it's
So why would I, tell you?
Yeah, you're like,
But I just wanted you guys to show that, yes, I do see the good stuff when I do your scans.
It's not just that everyone is just really bad at life.
It's not that you guys just totally suck.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Oh, I just looked up and we've got 22s and 11s all over the place and a 33. Wow, it's a magical moment. It's just like the who's in the chat and which different chat and different numbers. I just looked over and just saw that. So
oh, okay.
I share the magical numbers.
Just saying, I'm just scamming. Hold on. Let's see if I'm gonna force a little bit of something. Does anybody have any questions in chat?
So far, everyone is just listening.
Sleepy? No, I'm kidding.
Talking about all kinds of things.
I'm sure they are. I love that. We do that.
Here's a question.
Okay.
Someone said, I've had a few things happen that lead me to suspect nothing here is real. All program generation, including the person. So the idea a person creates anything is moot. Any ideas on this? Thanks.
Well, it is a game simulation, 100%. Oh, okay. So this is what I say. Nothing's real, everything's real. So you create your own reality. So everything within your own reality is absolutely real to you. And you broke out of the all to have that individualized experience. So when people say, you're crazy, you believe in Bigfoot, you see Bigfoot, why do I care? I broke out of the all. If I wanted to be in the all, I'll go back to the all and, but I broke out to experience what I choose to experience. So definitely game simulation. But there is organic sentient life here. However, what people teach isn't 100% true. So people teach all of nature is organic and sentient. It's not. There's projection, especially near the cities like Central Park. Most of Central Park is not organic or sentient. It's a simulation projection.
What about the national parks? Do you have a
now the national parks, because they're further out from the cities, there's a lot of organic stuff there. Some of the stuff, of course, the national parks are all tied into the underground bases and they have a lot of holographic entrances. So you are going to run into some hologram stuff there that's like supporting the hidden entrances and stuff. And the creatures too that they're hiding there.
Yeah, they apparently like to come out and snatch people a lot.
Yeah, and you're an internal being, and most of us chose to come into this game. So it's absolutely real as when you watch a movie and you get lost in the characters, as real as when you play a game on your Xbox and get lost in the game. And I know all my son-in-laws are addicted to Xbox and they're totally lost and immersed in the game, and it's completely real to them. Yeah. So it's what's real to you.
That makes sense. Yeah, and you can create your experience in the game, so you can create your experience in this game too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's
my opinion.
They said we're just listening and learning. So
that
was
sweet.
The only question.
Okay. Yeah. So forgiveness of self would be an issue.
Yeah. I've worked really hard on it. I mean, I know I've made a lot of progress on it, but it's always stunning to me, like, wow, that's still there. Like,
and it's not. Again, it wasn't the first panel. It wasn't like the first thing I said. So, and it's not showing as like urgent, but it is still an issue. It is still something to be aware of. Your soul, because you're so old, has had a lot of fragmentation in the game and outside of the game. And we all have altars. Every single fire creation spirit has altars, including me. Not all my altars are integrated. Not all your altars are integrated. I would encourage you to continue integration, both of the altars and connection with aspects of yourself. within the game, because there's a lot of fragments of you in clone bodies, and there's a lot of fragments of you in other realms and other places. So we aren't taught that that is fully us, and we can connect and bring that in. And we bring in all the talents, all the abilities, the intelligence, the savviness, the wisdom, because we're all these things, and we can bring it into our present experience and use it in the now in this body. So that would be important for you to kind of think about and ponder.
That's another example of things I help other people with and don't do for myself.
Oh yeah. So, and I'm going to follow up self-forgiveness with love for self. So you have so much love for others. And again, to the audience, I'm not saying she doesn't have any love for herself, but again, I think this is something I know I've struggled with it in my life, and it's something I continue to work on, both these things. And I think it's something you've struggled with your entire life, and it's something you continue to work on. And your spirit's just saying, good job, but keep going. There's more for you there.
Yeah, I love that. That's absolutely true. Awesome. Well, maybe we can do just, I don't know, a few more or something, or whatever you think is a good rounded out place to.
Okay. I'm just getting started. I'm just getting warmed up now.
Like, I could go forever.
Okay, so I'm going to say two more things. I'm going to stop. Stop letting others drain you, pour it into you, drink you dry, not just entities and energies, which do to all of us, or try, but we're talking people or non-people, as the case may be. And some people would say this isn't possible, but you have such a pure spirit. It is possible with you. Work on your boundaries and stop over-giving at the expense of yourself.
I love that right now. Robert Lindsay Milne is also listening here, and he said hello, by the way. If you,
Hi, Robert.
And if he remembers the reading he did for me, it's like same. A lot of the same things. So I love that level.
I love the confirmation.
Yeah,
that's
like awesome. Met for hours to like here's what we say about Lindsay. Like, it's just out there. You're reading the accurate interpretation.
Yeah, Robert's awesome. He's super awesome. He's a very loving, wise, awesome person. Yeah, I love him.
I was writing something and I didn't finish it. Now I forgot. The last thing you said was to stop letting other people drain me, right?
Mm-hmm. Stop letting other people. Yeah, I think. Is that the last
thing?
And
then I started writing work on, and then I didn't finish it. So maybe I was just.
Overgiving.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
That's like a guilt thing for me too. I'm like, the smallest amount of like fortune I get, I'm like, I have to give some away because other people need this. Like, God, calm down.
Well, it's a seesaw in you, and it's a false belief. So we would pull that belief and that program. It's also McGeorge programming. It's guilt, but it ties in all with the lack of forgiveness, lack of self. So it's kind of like you think there has to be like positive retribution for past. Yeah, and we could get into this another time if you want. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in your past lives that kind of lead to this.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, a lot of my past lives, I was a really awful human being. Like, just the worst.
We all were. We came to play the game. We came to its characters. So we have to stop the polarity thinking and be like, you don't just want to be the good guy all the time. That is not fun.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that helps to release it a lot, to remember that too. So it's a good reminder. There's a question from Travis, and he says, could you elaborate on active hope?
Oh yeah, active hope. So again, it's the same. To me, active hope is, okay, I hope I increase my income by 30% this year. That's not active hope. Yeah. Active hope is I hire an agent to book me on podcasts. I hire someone to help me with social media marketing. That's putting active hope. So I can also have the hope part, which is a frequency and the intention, and I can, be broadcasting that, but I'm putting the action behind it, which makes it super powerful.
Yeah, I love that too, because that's something I'm just more recently giving to myself, is that active hope. And it's because there's a level of that that's like your confidence and belief in what you're doing. you're not going to put money and time into something that you're like, oh, that's not going to happen
Absolutely.
anyway, right? So I get that active hope part. That's really cool. Awesome. Well, I know we wanted to end early, and that was all the questions that the group had, but is there anything you want to add in general about this? I know that you offer this to people, and I'm guessing you do it in half-hour or longer chunks, and that it's an ongoing process, or how does that work with people?
Well, we do like mini tap scans, which is you pick an area. You're like, could you see if you think I have arthritis or, whatever. They have questions that they want me to look at certain areas. So that's usually what a tap scan is. We also do MILAB scan or abduction. Have you been taken? Who's taking you? Who are your star families? Are you an SSP? Are you a super soldier? What do you do in the super soldier program? All that woo stuff. So we do those scans. And then a full scan is generally 25 to 30 minutes, but I talk really fast. So it's like you get an hour.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, everyone's like, you talk so fast. I'm like, why would you want me to talk slow? You're getting more for your money. Stop complaining. Right. And you can slow it down. I don't know if you guys know, most programs you can adjust, like on videos, you can slow me down.
That's true.
If you're walking.
And I'm usually the opposite. I'm like, let's get this on double speed. And then you're here and I'm like, this is perfect.
Just the right pace. Yeah, so we offer scans, and I do a lot of scans, but really I love my mentoring programs. We have this whole family that's been going on like 10 years, and these are people that want the cutting edge. They want to know about the game. They want the details of the game. They want to know about the other dimensions. They want to know about their soul families. They want to know about just all the stuff nobody talks about. Like, is the moon a moon? Is it organic or is it a base? What does the moon really look like? Why does the moon look like, they want to know the weird stuff. So we do the weird stuff in my mentoring groups. Everybody's like, tell me what all this stuff in my scan means. And I'm like, I can't, like, that's what we do in my groups. I teach all that stuff, Yeah. So if you resonate with me, you really want to come into the family, and I'm usually happy to let you try it for a month without like paying anything to see if it's for you. So, I'm pretty loose with that. Also, we have a live event coming up, and we have a few spots still left in Sedona in November. Ooh. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have so much fun. All sorts of shamanic rituals. We're going to go out with military night goggles and communicate with ships and soul families. We're going to do some channeling. We have sound healers. My son-in-law is a chef, and they're going to be making, gluten-free, vegan, all organic food. That's just going to be so super awesome. So there's a couple of spaces if you guys are interested in that. There's free stuff on my website. Lots of stuff about what I talk about, really, from really conservative stuff to really woo-woo stuff on my YouTube channel. So just look me up, secrettoeverything.com.
I love that. And Secret to Everything is also your book, is it not?
Yeah, I have some books, and that's kind of my book series. And I actually wrote, you should read my book because it's on Lyme and autoimmune. Do you have that? I'll send it to you.
Oh, I would love that. No, I don't. I just realized today that was the name of your book. Like, I thought it was your site, and then I went looking and I found the images for the cover.
Yeah, it's both. Yeah, so. I'm pretty branded. It's so cool because when you are aligned with your higher self, and you can read timelines and kind of see the bigger picture. Like 15 years ago, I was told, this is your business name. And it's like really served me well, because you can do anything under the Secret to Everything. I can switch any time what I talk about,
because it's literally connected to everything.
Exactly.
I love that.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for giving me this gift. It's really insightful, and I really needed those affirmations and confirmations. And I love the understanding, because we talked about it last time, what you do, but we didn't dive too deep into what it is or what it's like or anything. So I like that people got to see this too, and that I got to see it.
I appreciate that.
And yeah, thank you so much for that. I'm absolutely going to go out and buy some rose right now.
I hope you do. I think that I'm excited for you if you're going to do that.
I am going to do that. Yeah. So what I do is I say I'm going to do that right now, and then within a few days, my soul is like, hey, remember the thing? I'm like, oh yeah, the thing. And then I do it. So that's the real goal, is that I do it eventually. But thank you for all of that. It's really helpful. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that you come back again sometime and we have even more time. Because again, I feel like the first time we talked about literally everything and barely scratched the surface. And then this time we did this really specific encounter.
Right.
Maybe next time we can have another long form chat about
everything. That'd be awesome. I love it. I just feel like I'm sitting down with like my sister, and we're just like,
yeah, it's just easy talk between friends.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And is there anything you want to say in closing to everybody out there?
You guys are so much more powerful than you think you are. Ask your soul family to help you remember, go out in nature and, connect to the organic trees and the beings in nature. And you guys are awesome, powerful. That's it. Amazing, beautiful.
She's right. I second that. And fellow travelers of the path, it is a beautiful thing. And this has been your analog, electric, concentric dose of wisdom, according to the eclectic energy worker, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. Kimberly, thank you so much for coming back again. I love it. And it is always going to be time to do better. It is always going to be time to keep going. It is always going to be time to dig in deep and pull out that strength that lies beyond reason and logic. So dig deep, friends. And until you do, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Nasty motherfuckers with a hook and a sickle. Brought to you advertisement, bone plated nickel. Fire rate automatic smash from the get-go. Snack on the whack, fermented flesh disco. Abracadabra, archaic altars don't slabber. Hey, making jabbers with reality backwards. Hunting rap nerds, bodyguard collected actors. Munitions are famished, let them feast upon the dapper. Bloody bibs and muddy kicks, feasting on amygdalas. Iron fist, tyrant shit, APO will rip you up. The rhyme rainmaker, vein style backbreaker. Genghis Khan depleted uranium satellite lasers. Cloaked in anonymity, I know you never heard of me. No rusted tools used for Crowley style surgery.
Dissect a whole set, God body. God taught me to dissect the whole body. When it gets sloppy, I'ma get there. Rhymes rare like steak, get crushed like crates to create 52 states. And it's Baghdad, dust to towels, no rags. Straight melt dash, dust to ash. Turbans while the niggas perkin'. It's on purpose, my service touches the sun's surface. And rainbows touch serpents. My light all night shines so bright. I'm a star for eons, Hollywood's for peons. Cause they try to copy the same shit we on. Hey, I ain't done yet. Lungs depleted and can't breathe, can't believe it. Trying to seek it while trying to peep it. It's a secret. Now you're nobody. Label somebody. Trying to claim John Gotti. It's yours truly, God body.